There has recently been an explosion of interest in Chinese mythology with the story of the journey to the west and the game Black Myth Wukong.
Take the shortcut. I should probably take off my sunglasses. I can't see anything.
My name is Elliot Richards and it's time to explore the Silk Road using an electric car, naturally.
I don't know if it sounds like water or the start of a horror film.
For this time, I'm travelling solo with myself, the crew, and the NIO ET5 touring.
So we should have the whole Pingshan Grand Canyon to ourselves.
The perfect companion for our 1700 kilometre road trip then. Our first stop though was to go to the Lanzhou NIO house to pick up our wheels for the trip.
So we're here, we've just arrived in Lanzhou, and there's a few things we need to do before we start our journey. First of all is pick up our car. This is the car here. Actually it's not. I don't wish it was, because we're going on some pretty wild roads, but I've driven this, fantastic. It's actually the car just behind it. We've got the NIO ET5T for the next 4 or 5 days. I don't know if it's in this colour, we haven't actually collected it. Should be downstairs in the basement, but I'm so happy we've got the ET5T. A wagon, an electric wagon. We can drive an electric wagon and go on an adventure. So good.
But first, how to mess up a drink order.
Been treated to a local drink of the Lanzhou Shan, which is like river vibe. But anyway, it's got oats in it. I've got it all over my mouth. Oh, okay. What an idiot. Again, Elliot, come on. Yeah, that's really good.
It was getting late and we had an early start the next day, so a little bit of tucker, and now it's time for a rest.
It's cheap.
Now, before starting my drive, we needed a good filling of local noodles, Lanzhou Lamian, which we mistakenly ordered with 2 spoons of spice.
So it's 6:45 in the morning and we're going to have spicy beef noodles called Lanzhou Lamian. This place is famous for these. Apparently they don't taste anything like this outside of Lanzhou, so we're going to dig into these spicy noodles and oh, it's hot. Those are some good noodles. They're so flavourful.
Perfect for 6 AM then. Nothing that a bit of Gaviscon can't sort out.
Here we are, picking up our car. This is our ET5T for the next few days. I've got the key. Oh yes, and it's in the lovely blue colour. Good looking wheels. Right, I've got to stop talking, got to pack my bag into the car, do a battery swap, and then we get going.
I was actually delighted when I asked for the ET5T from NIO. I've always wanted to have a road trip in this vehicle. I think this can easily claim to be the most popular electric wagon or estate car in the world. This has sold 50,000 units globally, mostly in China, but whoever says the wagon is dead, forget it.
So we're about to start our journey, our Silk Road journey, but the first thing we need to do is swap the battery because we only have the 75 kilowatt hour battery. We want the 100 kilowatt hour battery, and on the start of a long journey, it makes sense to swap it out for the big one. So there's a swapping station in Lanzhou, so we're just going to head over there, which is just in the other side of the car park. And this still boggles my mind that this is doing it by itself. I'm not pressing the pedals, I'm not steering, and it's just going to change my battery in 3 minutes.
With all our supplies, our car fully charged, and a friendly send-off, it was time to get started on our 1700 kilometre road trip along the Silk Road. We would be following the ancient trail, exploring temples, ancient landmarks, UNESCO World Heritage sites along the way, soaking up all the culture in the area, all in the comfort of our ideal explorer's vehicle. I also have my trusty Leica Flex SL camera with me to take some snaps along the way. But this time, I'm also going to use the NIO phone to take photos too, to see how it compares. Also, NIO gave it to me for free for this trip, so I may as well use it.
This is really how you want to start a road trip, with a 100 kilowatt hour battery and a displayed 628 kilometres of range. The journey, the first stop, the actual next battery swapping station is in 243 kilometres, so we've got more than enough range, but we're going to try out the swapping anyway. Now we're about half an hour outside Lanzhou and the landscape is alien. It's completely like the surface of Mars. It's very barren, very dusty. It's completely different from Shanghai, obviously. I was there less than 24 hours ago, and then we're just diving into these mountains, and you occasionally see a little settlement or a little house somewhere just in the middle of nowhere, and although it's like a desert out here, it's freezing cold. It's absolutely Baltic outside. 5 degrees at the moment. But anyway, at least the sun is shining, the tunes are going. Got a bit of trip hop on the go. Thanks, Matt.
Underneath my clothes, I'm always naked, like a street cat. I feel the wind against my skin. I wanna love you, I'd love to love you. I would do anything, but where do I begin?
Right, we're here at our first kind of toilet stop, rest stop. As you can see, cars behind me performing very well, very comfortable, and don't know if you can see, yep, snow mountains. So we're just getting further and further north and getting higher and higher, and altitude is changing, and yeah, I mean, it's getting exciting. We're getting to really scenic areas, very few people, and honestly, the car is just performing faultlessly. It's just so easy. Just bash it on NOP, enjoy the music and go for a ride. So good.
When you're around, I'm always hopeless, no matter what I say,
We began to pile on the miles, and after 4 hours, we needed to stop to recharge. The good news is that on this route, it's served well by battery swapping. So that's exactly what we did.
Right, as you can see, we're at the battery swap station. I need to park over there. We're just getting a camera set up, but let me just show you. It's essentially, I clicked this location on the map and it went to it, and then it said, do you want to swap? I said yes. So it booked me in, and now all I have to do is drive into the area, press the button, and that is it. It really is remarkable when you think about it, because there's over 2,600 of these swapping stations across China, and there's a few more overseas as well. It's a huge number, and with all the power routes that they've set up, it means you can literally explore China, almost go anywhere in China without having to worry about charging. So you've either got power battery swapping like this, or you've got the actual charging piles. This station actually has charging piles as well, and I've got other brands as well. So there's about 20 chargers at this site. There's one other car here, and that's it. I guess this is it. Welcome to Wuwei. Let's go find a place to park and fill up our bellies, probably with noodles and meat. It's like some sort of gold shop there. I don't think we want that for lunch. Alcohol, don't want that. Sheep's head again, no, not that. Every single shop on every single side is a massage place. So whilst I looked on the map and it said noodles, this is Spa and Foot Spa Street. There's been no restaurants so far. It says there's a lot on here, look. Right, I found one. Now this place we can pick our own veggies. We can just pick meat, but I think we need some vegetables, so we're going to pick some greens, because we haven't had many greens, and I don't think we're going to have many vegetables. Big fan of tofu. Yeah. Tofu skin. Big fat tofus. Yeah, good. Then we should get some meaty things as well. These look interesting. I think this is all beef here, so we'll get some beef. Healthy lunch. So we're at our hot pot. This is the only place we can find. We've got our veggies, we've got a bit of meat, and we've got our 2 dips here. One's a tomato broth and one's a mushroom broth. Don't know what to expect, but at least it's not spicy, and at least it's not all meat. So yeah, that's always good news. So I think that's ready. And they charge by the stick, so each stick of thing is about 80p? No, not 80p, 8p. 8 pence, about 10 pence for one stick of whatever. It's really good. Just what we needed.
Our first stop was somewhere I found on the map, a moon-like atmosphere where we could stop and take our first photos. However, I think I made a few mistakes.
So we come to a park to see some sand dunes. TBC if we're actually going to see them. There's no one here. It's like an abandoned park. We haven't seen anyone, but we're getting the little trolley bus there, so let's see what's going on. Has the world ended? This feels like the end of the world, and we're just wandering around. Here's some abandoned statues. There's no dune, but there's camels. Yeah, they're just chilling out next to the stormtrooper, Darth Vader. I mean, technically this is a sand dune, this is sand. Hello, Mr. Camel. Can I get a selfie? I'm gonna get a selfie, Darth Vader. This is mental. What is this doing here? This is so weird. It's very peaceful though. Oh dear. Okay.
There was also this really odd film set thing, and it was very, very strange.
What a strange place.
Told you.
I think we should get moving. I just want to show you how easy it is to set up this journey. So this is the next town we're going to. It's called Zhangye City, and as you can see there's a small logo here. Shows you your battery swap station. So I can click on that. Tells me that there's one currently queued. That's our camera car, but they've got 3 out of 5, 100 kilowatt. There's no one in line, so I can press swap. Then it will tell me the best route to get there, and auto order when near power swap station. Yes, please. Start navigation. Down here I can see the details about the swap as I get closer. And this is not me. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. This is not my music. Got some sick trip hop.
Zhangye used to be an important oasis in the desert, part of the Silk Road route, where traders used to stop along the Hershey corridor. The Silk Road in an enchanted ribbon winding through a landscape where sand and sky meet in boundless beauty, where each curve reveals a new world. These days it's an important place for the China Rally Championships, forming a stage in the rally season. But enough history, I need to eat.
Right, it's the start of the next day and we've left our hotel in Zhangye and we're heading all the way to Pingshan Grand Canyon, which is very much like its American counterpart, except it's in China. So hopefully going to have a really good hike in the Pingshan Grand Canyon. I mean, I do have to make a quick comment on, I suppose, the usability of the NIO. We've been driving it for, I don't know, 800 kilometers or something now, and you really start to get a feeling for what's important in a car, how we test cars which have a lot of unimportant details, and I think automakers are in a race to throw in as much as they can to sell more cars. It kind of makes sense, right? I think NIO's not so focused on that. They're much more focused on this kind of user experience, and this is my personal opinion about this. So for example, the UX UI up here, it's only got the most important information that I need. So my range, my speed, and if I'm using NOP. And I don't need anything else. The more information I have, the more overloaded I am, the more stressed I get, the more tired I get. For a long journey, this is exactly what I needed. There's a bit of a benefit of coming in the off season because, well, our car's there, camera car's there getting set up, but the car park is essentially empty. So we should have the whole Pingshan Grand Canyon to ourselves, which I'm delighted about. Got my camera and we're ready to get shooting.
But I will admit, nothing prepared me for this view.
I wasn't expecting to see this today. This is the Pingshan Grand Canyon. It's breathtaking. It's so stunning. Kind of this rock formation kind of going throughout the whole landscape, dotted with small bushes, and it's completely peaceful. It's about 5 degrees, but it's so beautiful. I just want to stand here and soak it. I'm lost for words. I just want to soak it in all day. Anyway, I think we're going to go for a hike, and I'm going to use my camera. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but in the very far distance, I don't know, 30 kilometers away, you can see a wind farm. And it's clearly a very new wind farm because you can see them still making them. Some of them only have like one blade sticking up, but it's so like windy in areas around here, and you know, this landscape is fairly barren apart from this bit. And so this is what China's doing. This is what China's, you know, doubling almost every year, is their renewable energy sources, and we'll soon probably see a lot more of these landscapes here, landscapes around China, as they transition away from coal. It's just amazing to see it on this scale as well. They go on for as far as the eye can see. I can't even see the end of them. Staggering. Staggering natural landscape and staggering man-made landscape, all in one picture. Right, we're in the bottom of the valley now. The good news is, oh no, I've lost my 5G. Luckily, these steps are carpeted. I feel like a dame coming down the grand ballroom staircase in a big dress. I get so used to the cacophony of noise in Shanghai that having somewhere which is this quiet, like nothing, is quite eerie. Come here and look at this. Because of the light and shadows, you get these really beautiful kind of spotlights where you can kind of see through the canyons. It's like a teardrop shape on the screen there. I think that's beautiful. I've adjusted the shutter speed, and I can take that in RAW as well. Sometimes I like the photos that I take. Sometimes I think they're quite good, but sometimes they're not very good. Wow. Unbelievable. Let's ignore the camera on the pole over there. All of this is from water. I did not expect to see anything like this today. I'm blown away. The map said this was a shortcut, but it's a bit worrying because it says go quickly because there's falling rocks. I don't know if you can see, but there's a chain and some steps, and we've got to climb through here. Taking my sunglasses off. Took my real glasses on. Right, now I can see a bit better. Not sure how we're going to get a camera through here. What a lovely Saturday morning this is becoming. That is an almost vertical stairs that we now have to climb out of. I guess off we go. Yeah. Cameraman's not made it yet. Oh joy. What's this? Another one? Elliot's shortcut. So we've just finished our hike at Pingshan-hu. We're a little bit tired. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There's no restaurants here. Now we've got about an hour and a half drive ahead of us. So we thought, let's use V to L and cook ourselves some not so delicious lunch. Now I've never done this before, so I have no idea what I'm doing. Does it show that I don't know what I'm doing? Right, now we've got that open, we're gonna plug this in here. This is the DC charger. I can hear it whirring away. And it's got power because the light's on here, great. So let's plug this in. So is it tea or is it coffee? Because it's jasmine tea coffee flavour. Anyway, we'll find out. Right, the kettle's bored, it's full of water, so let's go and make our delicious noodles. Well, they're noodles, I don't know if they're delicious. I had good pot noodle making skills from university, so I know what I'm doing. I never know what to fill these up to, that'll do. Should probably clean the cup out. Oh, that is hot. There you go, coffee and noodles for lunch. Breakfast of kings. Oh! Only problem is this is a bit too low for me. Right, bon appetit. Tastes like rubber bands. Not very nice. At least I got a coffee to wash it down though. Oh, that's delicious. That's really nice.
Right, I feel I've peaked at this point. Time to move on. Just like the caravans of the old Silk Road, our 21st century caravan, the NIO ET5T, was proving to be the perfect companion for this long journey.
This is amazing, it's so beautiful. This is what we want. I've just seen camels. There's just camels wandering around in the desert. Of course, I mean it's a desert, but Real camels. Really remote here, very remote. But even though it's so remote, there's still battery swapping in the next 100 kilometers. In fact, there's chargers all the way along this route, the whole way of the Silk Road. It's called the Silk Road Power Journey. And it really just makes trips like this so much easier. You don't really have to think too much or do too much pre-planning around these remote areas that you're going to, because you know the swapping network or the power network is there to support your trip. And then when you've got 100 kilowatt hour batteries, you need to charge less.
Whilst we were on this route, one of my subscribers said to me, "You should really go to the Rainbow Mountains." So I duly obliged. I also took my cameras because that's sort of the point.
We've really lucked out with the weather today, like perfect blue sky against the beautiful reds, yellows, oranges, rust colour of the landscape. In fact, it's really good for the old NIO phone. Those colour contrasts come out really well on this screen. I'm really enjoying using the telephoto lens, that's my favourite. And I'm shooting in RAW, which is even better. Quite a haunting and ethereal sound in here with all these bells and pieces of wood with people's wishes on them. And I guess that's why this area has so many wind turbines, because it is very blowy and blustery. It's very strange when it all goes still and quiet until the next gust of wind passes through. In fact, I think we've probably come at the best time of the day for this. Look at that, just absolutely stunning. I'm going to guesstimate this. F8 2000th of a second, 1000 F11 to open it up a bit more. Hopefully one of those will come out.
Yeah, they didn't.
So we finally made it to the end of the Great Wall. This is Jiayuguan Fort. It's built in about 1372, and we're here to have a look. This is the end of the Great Wall. The other end is just past Beijing in Beihaide, I think, by the sea. And this is the other end. Beyond here is the wilds. This is kind of seen as the unknown for most Chinese a long time ago. So beyond this was fear and uncertainty, but beyond that was Europe, you know, the Middle East and trade routes. So we're going to have a look at the end, and I'll show you our route that we've done so far. Now there's one thing I want to show you because I haven't done it yet. This is basically the map of our trip, but it's also the map of all the charging network that NIO has, this power network on the Silk Road. So, I mean, we've started off close to the beginning. The actual beginning is Shan. And we've travelled all the way along here, basically through Lanzhou, over through the Rainbow Mountains that we went to yesterday, and over here to Jiayuguan, and then tomorrow we'll head on to the Mogao Caves. So we've done a fair chunk of the old Silk Road, but you know, this is a real ambition from NIO to show the network like this, and to actually have the network which goes all the way out west. It's incredible, really, and this is like a traditional kind of scroll. I really like this. Right, we're about to head out of the city. This is actually where we're staying for the evening, but there's a mountain nearby which has got a really good dark sky number, which basically means it's going to be phenomenal for astrophotos. Now, Brian, our cameraman, the cameraman I've had for 3 or 4 years, is a really keen astrophotographer. Set up a little camp. We've got camp chairs, maybe brew a small pot of coffee, and do some stargazing, I guess. But before then, we've got about an hour to drive into the mountains. I think it's not a very busy road, very twisty, very turny. Yeah, so next time you see me, it might be very dark. Brian's just getting his equipment set up over there, and we're going to look at some proper stars. I'm also going to try the camera on the NIO phone to see if we can do long exposure, see what stars we can see at night. It should be able to do it. I've got a tripod. It can do long exposure. And the good news is we can use this. This is the torch, so that we can keep the lights down and make our eyes adjust to the stars above. It's interesting because you know, we were talking about the frontier earlier. That was the old frontier. Beyond those gates was the wilderness. And in fact, just over these mountains behind us, China's launching their own satellites in a city just over there to the next new frontier. And it's kind of all happening in one area, this kind of new frontier breaking. So what we've just discovered is that the Milky Way is right above our heads, which is absolutely brilliant. The last time I saw this, it was about 10 years ago. Sorry, you can't see my face. I've actually managed to capture it on this camera. I've widened the lens to the ultra wide settings, so 14mm lens, ISO 3200, and it's how many seconds? 30 seconds. And I've actually managed to do it. If I turn the torch off, you can actually see it with your naked eye. It's so cool. So I'm gonna try this, turn the torch off, and I'm sure you'll see the finished results in a minute. Ready?
Now normally we'll be showing you amazing photos that Brian took, but he got the wrong equipment apparently. So he's blaming his equipment for his lack of images. But I got some nice images, so here they are. Yeah, I totally won that, Brian. Right, so it's 6:20 in the morning. We're about to drive to our last destination. And last night we got to the hotel quite late after doing the star kind of photos and exploring the mountain. And NIO's got something called one-click charging, where we just used the NIO app. And someone came along last night, took our cars away to the charger, charged them for us and left them back at the hotel. So now we've got a full battery for our next rather long drive, but that's a pretty amazing service. And when we got back to the car, they've even left us a handwritten note. That's a lovely touch. And that is going to haunt me forever. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. It's just the default on the car, okay? It's me and Nomi are going to hang out together. Hey, Nomi. Right, now we've got our ticket. Time to go back on the highway to our next destination. We've just left Zhangye, and now we're heading to Ginta Forest Park. About 206 kilometers and about 3 hours of driving now. Now I've been in the car for a few days, I've really got to learn what things I like about it and what things I don't like. I want to start with all the things I don't like. But it's these window switches. But the most annoying thing is when you click down, the window goes up. When you click up, the window goes down. There's a real joy in coming off the main road, the big expressway, which is, I mean, it's fine in this car because it's very easy, but it's a little bit boring. There's not much to look at. If we go this way, we've come off the highway, we've gone on this very small country road, and there's no one else here. All of the trees along the side are bright yellow against the blue skies is stunning. But it's just so nice to have the road to ourselves. We're passing through small villages where villagers are putting their corn outside to dry in the sun for the difficult winter months ahead. This is just, yeah, this is a great form of travelling, very enjoyable. Apart from the people who are in a rush and want to overtake you. It's really amazing when I look around me because on one side I can see basically the end of the Great Wall of China, so that comes through here. We're going to see the end of it later, but on this side I can see like little outposts which are still there from hundreds of years ago. On the other side I can see massive solar farms and wind farms next to each other generating electricity. So in one scene I've got China's past and China's future. This trip doesn't fail to disappoint with things to see. It's really staggering. Next stop on our road trip was the Ginta National Park, which is just about still covered in its custard leaves. Yeah, I'll explain that in a minute.
We've made it to the, I think probably the biggest tree here, and it's still got its yellow leaves on it. It's absolutely fantastic. It's so bright, yellow and vibrant against the blue sky. It's gonna look fab in photos. I reckon, yeah, about a week or 2 weeks and that'll all be gone. Now you can see throughout this landscape there's a few other trees dotted with yellow leaves as well, like in the background. But this is by far the biggest and, in my eyes, the best. Time to get some photos, I think. This thing is absolutely huge. It's just got so many different yellows and different colours and shining very differently in all the different lights. Of course, the obligatory prayer things.
I don't know if you can hear that in the background. There's always speakers playing music. Can't just be nice and peaceful and just listen to the sounds of nature. No, they've got to have sounds of speakers.
I think it's time for a cup of coffee in this absolutely beautiful environment. Afternoon cup of coffee, pour that in there. It was roasting hot yesterday. Pour the capsule in, I should be good to go in a couple of minutes. Right, this will be ready in a couple of minutes, but having coffee, just sitting down, enjoying this environment, it's good for the soul. Cheers. Too hot. So we're heading out just at a charging stop at Guazhou NIO power piles, and now we're heading off to our last destination. The original plan was to go and look at some caves, but I don't think that's particularly exciting. So we're going to look at something which is basically from an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, so at this point, I could sort of sense the crew getting a little bit sick of filming the car. So they sort of seem to follow different vehicles, including that truck.
Right, so we just arrived in a place called Guazhou at the NIO charging piles. I still have 36% left, about 245 kilometres. We're only going 120 kilometres, that's the end of the journey. But we're going to have a quick top up anyway. So this is 2 piles, 120 kilowatts. So us and the camera car are going to share 20 kilowatts, 60 kilowatts each. And it's simply plug and play. And you'll notice I'm wearing my big jacket now because it's noticeably colder as we're getting further west. So we've got a quick charge, maybe 20 minutes, and that's it. We'll be on our way to the final destination. This is day, 4 or 5? If I was going to summarise driving this car, it's very difficult because the car did everything so thoughtlessly. It was really just a simple, a car shouldn't complicate your life, it should add to your life, make it easier. And this and the charging experience has made this supremely straightforward. I haven't had any issues, battery swapping, finding the charging piles, charging, loads of range. I mean, it's been brilliant. I'm glad we stopped for the 100 kilowatt hour battery at the start, but that's exactly what it's for. It's for road trips like this. And I know NIO have the 150 kilowatt hour battery, so you could go even further without stopping. I think what this really shows is that the network is so important in the transition to electric vehicles. The charging network here in China is still not perfect, but it's so much better than back home in the UK. I think other people got to experience something like this. I think they'd be extremely impressed of what electric cars are capable of. Imagine yesterday we were at that fortress, the end of the Great Wall. This really is what was beyond that. It's desert, pure desert. Now it's not all like this, it's a oasis in the desert. We'll see the oasis in a minute, but you can imagine those early travelers struggling through here, and you can't really imagine how they think, oh, how many thousands of kilometers to get to my next trading post. Just shows the variety of landscapes there are. It's just one province. We're only in Gansu province. I hope the view's worth it at the top. Yeah, it's looking quite good already. I think Indiana Jones's father would have best said this, like Zhangye, the city with the oasis in the desert. Well, here it is. I found it, Mr. Indiana Jones. But this is the end of our trip. This signals the very end of our trip across Gansu on the Silk Road. Lots of very varied landscapes. Hopefully got some good pictures and just met some very interesting people as well. I think this journey's been all about connections, connecting with the NIO network, connecting with people around here, and then realizing that EVs can actually go anywhere. I knew that already, but anyway, if you don't mind me, I think there's only one way to get down here.
See you later. This is the quickest way down. You're going as well. Oh, my shoes are full of sand. Very heavy. It's quite a lot.